This is the 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe Hybrid Caligraphy. Is it a wise midsize SUV option? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today I borrowed this model from my friends at Mike Morgan Hyundai in Shreveport, Louisiana. If you want to know more about it, check out the link down in the description of the video. The exterior color on this model is called Ultimate Red, and it has a gray on gray interior. With the way the sun is shining through the windshield, you can actually see that pretty well from this point. It looks nice, let's get that correct, for those who don't like a black interior. And here on the front end, you're gonna find plenty of LED lighting. You can tell what's LED by that flickering effect that you see. That's only happening through the lens of my camera. You might even hear the engine running. And there's a reason why I have it running. It is so that the shutters right here will actually open. So they're open right now. I'll probably show you another view later on where they're closed. Definitely a lot more boxy for 2024 for those who like a boxy look. Well, it's a good thing. You'll still have some nice rounded edges in the right places. And right here, we're gonna have our air curtains that allow air to flow through the front end. Those are active. Plenty of air getting in for our hybrid powertrain. That's a good thing. And this model will come in all-wheel drive. So for those of you who need all-wheel drive, it's nice to know that that is available. 255 will be the width on our tires, the sidewall, 45, and a 20-inch wheel. Nice look on the wheel there. A little bit of a flare on the fenders, just gives it a nice look. That way everything isn't just completely flat. Like I said, while you have this very boxy look, you still have some nice rounded edges. Power adjustable heated side view mirrors, they're body color. You're gonna have your turn signal indicators built in. They're heated and they're power folding. So that is a good thing. And we'll turn around and take advantage of the bright Louisiana sunshine to show you the remote. Everything you expect to see is going to be here, including remote start. It is a proximity key, in case you were wondering. And you have those roof rails up there. And something you will not see on any other vehicle I have seen is the assist handle in the pillar right here, the door pillar, where you can reach up there, grab that with your hand, and then hop up with your foot on the tire right there and make it easy to gain access to your cargo space on the top of the vehicle. Now, you can close that up. It is lockable, by the way, and that's going to be done right here. So you can use really anything that will fit in there if you need to, just in a pinch, whatever, a small key or whatever. And that's not only here on the the driver's side, it's also on the passenger side as well. And a nice size rear roof spoiler. You'll notice that we don't have an exposed rear window wiper. It is tucked away in here, so there is a rear window wiper. Hopefully you can see that in there. And we finished things off back here. You probably noticed on the front end that you saw that H built into the turn signal indicators and your daytime running lights. You're gonna have that same look back here. Some like it, some don't. Tell me what your thoughts are. We're gonna have our hybrid and H-Track logo back here, as well as the Santa Fe logo. I do like the contrast with this model, with the Ultimate Red and the black that is going to be in several different places. Under the hood is the 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that makes 232 horsepower and 271 pounds-feet of torque. One thing that might be a surprise is that it is not a CVT or an eCVT that it is mated to. It is a 6-speed automatic transmission. You will also find a single electric motor. Let's talk about those all-important MPGs: 35 city, 34 highway, 34 combined, and 2.9 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And how about the gas tank size? For those of you who may want to know, it's 17.7 gallons. You don't have capless fuel fill. Some people tell me they don't want capless fuel fill. Well, if that's a major decision maker in your buying process, whether you're going to buy a vehicle or not, well, here's one to consider. And you will find a power tailgate to gain access to the cargo area, which is going to range between 14.6 up to 79.6 cubic feet. You'll find a few things back here, such as a 12-volt power outlet, we'll also find the ability to raise and lower our seats, which is always nice. And so you can lower those seats in the middle. That's what I'm doing right there. Notice I'm not holding anything down. I don't have to hold the button down. We'll just push that button and everything goes down. And I like that because while they're not competitors, some really high-end and high-dollar vehicles such as the Chevrolet Suburban, the GMC Yukon, and others that come from GM, when you do that, here's the difference. I'm going to also push that button to hold or to bring the seats back up. Notice I'm not holding down. I just push the button one time. You actually have to hold the buttons down to bring the power seats back up in those vehicles. Kind of an interesting thing, just something I thought you might want to know about. We'll also find a power outlet right here. And it's just easier to show from this vantage point. A USB port. Here's the air conditioning vents for your third row passengers, and they can control what's going on with their air back here via this dial. So nice to know they don't have to rely on whoever's sitting in the middle or in the front seat to take care of that for them. And over here on the driver's side, the left-hand side, we'll also find another USB option and another air conditioning vent. And if you're cross-shopping, say, the Honda Pilot, another 3-row mid-sized SUV that does not offer a hybrid powertrain at this point, one thing I like here is while the rear seats are not power as the middle seats are, I think that's more appropriate if you're going to have power seats to have them as power for the middle row as opposed to the rear, because you can gain access to these so much easier. With the Pilot, they're a lot further forward and a lot harder to get to if you don't put the strap in the right place, which you can Velcro that in place with both models. But I just like the fact that both of these, or that these back seats compared to the Pilot, are much easier to gain access to. And another question that's so easy to answer from this vantage point is the fact that they do recline, and you can see that they recline quite a bit. A couple of different settings for the seating position. And by the way, you may have noticed this rear door, the tailgate, is very low. You can fix that very easily. I'm just going to push that up into its maximum height. I'm going to hold this button down and listen for the beeps. So when you hear those beeps, you're going to know that the tailgate height has been reset. It's that easy to do. You can always reset it anytime you want to. And just to show you that everything is working back here the way I said it would, I'm going to open that back up and you'll see that it opens all the way. And both the left and right side doors will have the sunshades, or privacy shades as we often like to call those, that can be put in place or taken out of place. The windowsill right here will definitely work as an armrest if so desired, or we can use the more conventional area down here. I like its size, it's comfortable, and I like that it's flat. That's good, no angle towards the front. And you'll also notice that we have heated seats here for the middle row passengers and a couple of cup holders. I would call this area more of a bottle holder than a door bin, just because of its size, but it could work for a multitude of things that will fit. Now, this is likely a very unlikely position, but you can see where this seat can slide to compared to the seat that's all the way as far back as it will go over there on the left-hand side, to help give your third row passengers a little bit of extra leg space. And how about gaining access to the third row? Now, we can do this from over here on the passenger side, over there on the driver's side as well, but a lot of people say that you should show the way to get in from the passenger side because most people do it over there on the driver's side. And you can see that the seat back is returning to position, and the seat's not all the way back. You can see the difference in the leg space right here. There is quite a bit. Now, the floor is a little bit high. That's just going to be the way it is with this particular model. And we already showed you what's over here, but just to give you a good view of that, now I didn't open the sunroof back here. We do have a power shade. We have a front and rear sunroof. But let me slide over here onto the left-hand or driver's side, and I'll show you how much leg space I have. I don't know how long I could be comfortable like that. Maybe cruising around town, if I was stuck in the third row, I could stick my leg through there, but that might be a little awkward for my foot to be there with the two passengers in the middle. And the good news, if somebody forgets to let me out, I can just push that button right there and the seat gets up and out of the way, no problem. Just have to be a little on the patient side. And there's a quick look at the rear sunroof with the shade open. And what's interesting is that the rear sunroof area, this doesn't open as far as the glass goes, but You have a power shade here, but a manual shade in the front. Just kind of an interesting thing that I thought was here that was worth mentioning. And if somebody says, you know what, I don't like where the passenger is sitting, well, guess what? You can move that. The kids can play pranks on their siblings, or people can play pranks on their friends, whatever. Boy, I probably just gave a lot of people interesting ideas. Here is your two options on USB connectivity. Nothing unusual for Hyundai to have these mounted right here on the seats, and then a little bit of space within the lower portion of the center console. And if your rear passengers need to gain access to the center console for some reason, well, guess what? They can. Kind of an unusual thing we don't see in a lot of vehicles, where the lid for the center console opens in two different directions. And we'll also have our rear seat pockets right here, quite a bit of space on both sides. Now, let's see about the armrest. You've got the armrest here that actually does have the ability to change its position. The way that works, honestly, I wish there was a way to maybe have it work where you could reposition it when it's completely flat and just move it up and down like this. I don't know. Let's just see. How does that feel? If I go all the way down like that, that is a very awkward feeling position. It's a little unusual, but yeah, I don't know. That doesn't really work for me. Plus, I don't think it's quite long enough. I would rather have it maybe be a little longer, maybe as tall as the seat right here, but that's the way it is for now. Tell me what your thoughts are. And in case you want to drop the hammer on 232 horsepower, here's an oh crap handle for those who are really scared of driving fast, or as fast as you can go with 232 horsepower. And how about the sticker price? $50,625 at Mike Morgan Hyundai if you're cross-shopping the Honda Pilot. If you go with the Black Edition, you're looking at around the mid-50s, $54,000 to $55,000 as far as that goes. Let's see what you get with this Hyundai beyond what we've already shown you for that sticker price. Seat memory right here, and then I can't roll the windows down. They're saying, Tom, don't you touch those windows. Don't you roll them down. They're freshly tinted. By the way, you might have noticed the tint on the windows. That actually is an addition from the dealership. They don't come tinted like that from the factory. But you have everything you expect to see here. Lock and unlock and control your power side view mirrors. All that's going to be here. And we'll have some of our other features up here. You can open and close your tailgate right there. There's your power parking brake. And you have quite a few nice features here, such as a head-up display that you can change the position on that if you want to. There is your digital instrument cluster that does a really nice job of just looking nice, giving you a nice, unique look. And we have our steering wheel now mounted controls here. You can figure out what is what, I believe, with all of that. Over here on the left-hand side of the steering column, here's where you control the lights on the exterior of the vehicle, and also your front and rear window wipers. And we also have the nice driver-focused infotainment screen right here. Your center screen, very easy to deal with. I really like that. It might look complicated at first, but I promise once you work your way around, it's no big deal as far as how you deal with everything, how you learn everything. And we have so many different settings that we can go through right here. I'm not going to show you everything because I don't want to take up that much of your time, but you can see what all is here. So much that you can do, so much that you can change. We can go into vehicle right here. We can go into climate, eco vehicle, seats. I'm not reading that in order, am I? But you can see what all is there. Even go into lights. Let's see if I can get that to come up for me. If I want to go into driver assist, drive mode, eco vehicle, climate, seats, lights. How about that? We go into digital keys. That's going to be found right there. If you need to make any changes, convenience, always nice to have that, depending on what you need to do or change. There's a lot going on here. It's good to just hunt and peck your way around with this vehicle, depending on what it is you want to know and what you want to find. And let's go into reverse real fast here, so I can show you the multiple camera views. You have your overhead 360-degree view over there on the right-hand side. But this is not all you have. You actually have a multitude of views depending on what you need to see and where you need to see from. In fact, I'll go into drive right there, and you can see that that automatically changes as well. We can also see all around the vehicle. So I really like that. In fact, you can change that to any view you pretty much want. The kids will play with this if you let them. That could be an interesting experience, but you can see what all is here. There is our front view, if you were curious about that. Yes, there is a front view. And by the way, in case you're new to Hyundai, here is your shifter. Kind of interesting, but I think once you get used to it, it's not a big deal, because I find myself reaching up here. In fact, it's better to have the steering wheel like this, I'd say, and wanting to use the lever for the front and rear window wipers as the shifter. You'll learn quickly that's not how it works. However, when you go into drive, you just twist that area forward. You just give it a quick twist back one time. It goes into neutral, and then all the way back, we go into reverse. And to go into park, we push that button right there. By the way, this is a heated steering wheel. There's how you turn that on. You have heated and ventilated seats for the driver and the passenger here in the front seat area. That's what I will need later in the day. There's your heated seats. We definitely won't need that until probably November or maybe December of this year. It will probably be a while before it gets cool enough to need that. And you can see what else is here. Knob for the volume and turning the radio on and off, and that's how you're going to work your way through your stations. Dual zone climate control, easy to deal with. Now, there's something here that I think should be in a lot more vehicles, and that's the fact that you have not one, but two wireless charging pads. That's very nice. And right up here, if you have something you need to sanitize, that's what this area is for. And that's pretty easy to deal with. That's how you turn it on, that button right there. And what happens, I think Hyundai, if I remember right, recommends leaving whatever you put in there for about 10 minutes. Whatever fits. Watches, keys, remotes, whatever. Whatever you can get to fit in there is what you can use. And you will have your conventional down here on the bottom area, conventional glove box, and power seats obviously for the driver and the passenger. That's going to be a good thing. We'll also find lumbar support, so that's good to know. And your cup holders. And we really already took a look here, but I'll show you how things look with the more conventional opening style of the center console. As I mentioned earlier in the video, there is your sunroof with the manually opening shade, and it does tilt and slide open, by the way, in case you were curious about that. And you also have the rear view mirror that has a couple of different views. You can go conventional or you can go camera, depending on what you need to see or what you like to see. I found that once you get used to that, it does seem to take a little bit of getting used to, that it actually is easier to just leave the camera on. At least in my personal opinion, it just gives you a better view. And I don't know how well this will show up in the dark here. A little bit darker, but not completely dark, but hopefully that helps you to see the lighting a little bit better. But the main thing I wanted to show you here, in fact, I'm going to do this from a little bit of a different perspective, at least to start with. First of all, I can show you that you have some ambient lighting here in the rear seating area. Not much. A lot more of that's going to be in the front. And there are multiple colors available. Let's hop up there and take a look at what you can find. And by the way, one thing I forgot to show earlier is the fact that when you turn your blinkers on, you do have those blind spot cameras that basically show you what's in your blind spot. That's what I call them, at least. And here is how we make our changes. You can get to this screen very easily to our ambient lighting. The thing I've noticed, it seems like blue always shows up the best. I don't know why that is, if it's just me or if it's really showing up better than anything else, but you have quite a bit going on here, and you can even change different areas. Check this out. Watch what we can do here. So depending on what you want to change, there you go. You have your little option here as far as that goes that lets you make a lot of different changes in a lot of different areas. And I apologize for that flickering effect. But for those of you who are saying, how did you get to that screen, Tom? So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how I did it. We're going to go to setup right here. We're going to go to vehicle, and then we go to lights. And here we are. We're already on the ambient lighting screen. So there you go, right there, ambient lighting. So we're going to go right here, and you can change the brightness if you want to, or you can also go right here, and there's how I change the color. So depending on what you want to do, that's how you do it. And one more thing before we get out on the road for our test drive that I did want to share with you, drive modes right here. I told you could change the look of the instrument cluster. Well, here are our driving modes that do that. Easy to deal with. You just work your way through the different modes and use the control down there that I just showed you. And there you go. There are your driving modes. And you also have a tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. Nothing unusual. Just drop the lever right there to adjust the position of your steering wheel. Okay, here we go on our test drive. I'm gonna let you listen for just a minute. Or should I say just a few seconds, because number one, I wanted you to hear what it sounded like when I drove over those railroad tracks back there. It was very comfortable, almost practically unnoticeable, so I didn't really notice that. That's a good indication of a good, comfortable ride quality, and it wasn't very noisy. Now, again, let you listen for a second. Now, I don't know what my microphone is picking up compared to what I'm actually hearing. And depending on who you are and how good your hearing is, will also determine on what you think is a good is good for road noise and what is not. For me, being the fact that I've driven race cars for quite a few years, my hearing is probably not as good as some of yours. So I don't think the road noise is that terribly bad, but other people might. So you need to make that decision for yourself. I know some people say use a decibel meter for that. Decibel meters can't decide for you. So I know people like to have a number, but it's just going to give you a number. That's not the same thing as saying, well, that's good enough for me or it's not. Overall, however, the one thing that you definitely have to decide on for yourself is what is acceptable as far as ride quality goes, and the ride quality is good and comfortable. Definitely established that earlier in the video. The steering wheel itself is comfortable, and having the heated steering wheel is nice. I'm still waiting to see a ventilated steering wheel in a vehicle. Here in Northwest Louisiana, especially this time of the year, even though it's a little cooler than normal, we're in the high 80s to low 90s, which is actually better than what we normally have. But with the sun beating down through the windshield, depending on where the vehicle's parked and which direction the sun is coming from, well, the steering wheel can get very warm. And it would be nice to be able to turn on a ventilated or cooled steering wheel function. Saying cooled is probably a little bit more accurate than ventilated, but just something that it would be interesting to see added to a vehicle. Everything here is easy to get to, easy to learn, easy functionality here. It's nice that you still have controls right here. You don't have to worry about going into the infotainment screen to control the air conditioning or anything like that. So that's always a good thing. We are seeing some automakers going away from having physical buttons and controls, which I don't think is the best thing, but everybody has their opinions on that. Overall, a very nice vehicle to drive, very enjoyable, easy to see out of because of the height of the windows. That is for sure. You definitely will not have any trouble where that is concerned, so that's always a good thing. Overall, a really, I'd say, well-balanced vehicle. If you're looking for something that's going to be comfortable, a reasonable amount of cargo space, a good amount of space for driver and passengers, as well as getting some good gas mileage, well, this is definitely something that's worth your consideration. And in case you were wondering if I was going to show you how things look here on the front end with the shutters closed, there you go. I wasn't kidding, was I? So tell me what you think about the 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe Hybrid Caligraphy. Is it a wise midsize SUV option? Tell me what your thoughts are. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends at Mike Morgan Hyundai for loaning me this Santa Fe for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. Make sure to subscribe. That way you don't miss any future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.